about that one. Let's just talk about Nebraska, Colorado. It's Colorado -3 right now. I think this has got to be a tough one for line makers too. Just Colorado in general, because they took a bath on the TCU game. Then they come back, they install Colorado as a touchdown favorite. The gamblers bet that down to 3.
Yeah.
So the sharps are like, no, it's going to come back to earth. I don't know what to think, because like you said, there's tape, but if it's a shootout, I trust these guys now that I've seen them win a shootout against TCU, which probably has better talent defensively than Nebraska does.
Yeah, I think you would be right in that. And then when I look at how the athletes are going to match up on the outside, like, I'm going to give Colorado that advantage. And with everything surrounding this game, now there's pressure on Colorado now, because now the world knows what they did on Saturday against TCU. But like, this is Folsom Field. It's going to be at its peak, right? And these are proud football fans. They haven't had something to cheer for like this. I mean, the 2016 year, maybe so. You got to go back to like the early 2000s, where they've had an opportunity to have a team like this and to have a real chance to go out there and do something special. That's why you see like the lowest ticket, I think, and it's like $392, just to get into Folsom Field.
It costs more to go to this game, to buy the cheapest available secondary market ticket to this game, than it costs to buy the entire season of Colorado football last year.
Okay, that gives you a perfect example of what Folsom Field is going to be like. So the home field advantage, all the juice you have from this week, if they can do a good job of not reading all the headlines and not seeing their name up there on the marquee blinking, which I think with Coach Prime, he's been through that, so maybe he has. And they did it at Jackson State too. I mean, they were the talk of the town at that level. And so they've certainly been able to handle that before. A bulk of these players who play for him at Jackson State, honestly, I don't worry about that. I think this is an opportunity for them. And I don't think they fold under the pressure. I think they go in there, they are the aggressor, not the counterpuncher, and they just out-athlete Nebraska. And I'm high on Nebraska. Like, I'm high on what Matt Rule can do, but just not right now. And it's going to be athletes in space, basketball on grass, all the old terms that we use. And I can't see this game, if it plays into Colorado's hands, which I think they dictate the pace, really, staying close to that 3 number.
I think so too. And I'm scared, because I was so wrong on Colorado last week that I feel like if I say it now, it's going to just boomerang back the other way on me. But it's a 3-point spread. Like, if Nebraska wins this game by 2, I don't feel that bad. We'd be talking about a 5-point difference. We're not talking about a 23.5-point difference, which is what happened in the TCU game. So yes, I will take Colorado to cover here.
Yes.
And as will you. We've been converted. I thought Coach Prime was going to work long term.
Right.
I just didn't think it would work right away, because of how hard it is to get good offensive and defensive linemen out of the portal. I'm not sure they got either one, but they've managed to come up with a scheme that hides that.
That's exactly right. And so the surprises were not really that you went out there and played like that. It's like you played like that against who you did it against. Like, I'm still not down on TCU.
No.
Like, there's some things they got to fix, but I think that's still a team that's going to win a lot of games in the Big 12. And so that was the most impressive part. And then you're exactly right, Andy. They hid some of their deficiencies. They got the ball out of their hand incredibly fast. Like, if they felt like they couldn't hold up during periods of that game, they just got it out to the back and allowed him to go out there and make plays in space, which he certainly did, had 3 receiving touchdowns. And so the game plan itself, it was perfect. And so that's the challenge this week. If I'm Nebraska, certainly with the new rules, and I have a running quarterback, you're not touching the ball. Like, I'm trying to keep it away. That play clock is bleeding all the way till we get to like single digits every single time.
We saw Duke do it to Clemson at the end of the game, and actually ended up just pounding it down their throats and blowing them out. But yeah, it is it's going to be something. This is wild, because it is. I was hearing the guys on Pardon My Take talk about Dion, and they're right. He is just a fountain of takes. Like, all he does is generate strong opinions from everybody. And I do love how him being successful just makes certain people mad. So
isn't that wild? It just makes people mad, like almost like they are rooting for his failure. I'm like,
that's not how you're supposed to do it.
It's like, how can you live your life with that as your attitude? The fact that you want, because he doesn't do it the way it's been done forever, you want it to fail. I'm like, look, that can be you. You're not going to catch me rooting against 18, 19, 20-year-olds because they're doing it a different way.
Exactly. So we'll be back with more picks from Jacob Hester after this word from Bird Dogs. You know, we get into the analytics a lot talking college football, success rate, efficiency. Well, let me tell you a way to maximize your efficiency in life. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just walk out of the shower, grab a pair of shorts or pants, put them on, not think about anything else, not think about having to buy underwear, not think about having to wash underwear? Well, behold, the Fart Garfunkels from Bird Dogs. That's right. Your underwear are in your pants. And these shorts, they take you everywhere. You can go to the golf course. You can go to the bar. Meet that special someone at that nice brunchery down the street. They're there for you when you need them. You can even wear them to work. Bird Dogs has amazing pants. I've got the Steven Jobs. They make me look professional, even though I'm actually going commando and nobody knows it. I got my eye on the Jeff Bezos. Those are the khakis. I've also got my eye on the Flying Wasps. Those would be seersucker workout shorts. Bird Dogs has it all. They even have polos. Behold, the Fidel Bass Pro. You can look great, feel great all the time. Maximum efficiency. You want your success rate in life to be 100%? Get yourself some Bird Dogs. And right now you go to birddogs.com/staples. Use the promo code Staples. You get a free Hydro Flask style bottle with your order. That's birddogs.com/staples. Promo code Staples. Go ahead. Start living a life of maximum efficiency. And now we go to Tuscaloosa. Texas, Alabama. The Crimson Tide are a touchdown favorite. Jalen Milroe, Quinn Ewers. Who you got, Jacob Hester?
Oh, man. I mean, this is a game we've all been waiting for a long time, since we had the epic battle last year in Austin. And for Alabama, we all know what the question was. Who's going to play quarterback? It was the offseason discussion that led every single college football show. And you brought in a quarterback and Tyler Buckner after the spring, and then there was like bigger questions because nobody went and won the job, but they did what they needed to do. In my opinion, if you didn't have one separate himself, it was always going to be Jalen Milroe. It had to be. He's got a skill set that can go out there and win games in multiple ways. Is it perfect? No, but it can be dynamic. It can be electric. It can be explosive, and it was last week against Middle Tennessee State. Now, Middle Tennessee State, no disrespect, is going to be a different opponent. Sorry, Chris Childers, show pony. I'm not hating on your squad, but that's just what it's going to be.
Our coworker at SiriusXM, big Middle Tennessee State guy. But yeah, this is a different animal here. And the thing for me, Hester, is this is a level of talent at Texas that we have not seen at Texas for a while. It's not about their recruiting rankings. It's about the output. It's about how they leave Texas. This group is going to leave Texas and get drafted. But there's a lot, like you look at those D linemen. Alfred Collins is one. Tavondre Sweat is a monster in there, which look, Alabama's got those guys too, but Alabama's always had those guys. This is different for Texas. Kelvin Banks, the left tackle for Texas, he's only a sophomore, but he's going to be highly coveted. The interior of Texas's offensive line may be the key to this game. Can they hold up if you've got Jaheim Otis bursting through the middle and getting after Ewers? Because Alabama's pass rush is going to be good. We got Chris Braswell and Dallas Turner off the edges. That's a problem. But if it's a bigger problem if those dudes in the middle are pushing through and making the play implode. So that's because
I can handle edge pressure. Edge pressure, I have ways where I can try to handle. I can send a tight end. I can send a back. I can send multiple people over there. I can throw quick game. I can do all that stuff. I can step up in the pocket. If it's from the defensive tackle position, and it's what like a big storyline in the LSU FSU game. It's like if you had Mason Smith in there, like that was going to be a strength for you, because as a quarterback, I have nowhere to go. If you're bringing it from the edge, my guy can run you around the rail. I can step up. I can step up to the left. I can find that window. But like you're saying, if it comes from right up the middle, that's when I'm in trouble. So that will be certainly a storyline to watch in the game. But look, if I'm Texas, if not now, then when? If I'm not ready for this game, after last year being right there, Bryce Young goes and wins the game for Alabama, and very disappointing, right? And then I have a season that I was not satisfied with. And then I have all this talent a year older. And I'm Steve Sarkisian. I'm going into the SEC. If not, when are you going to be able to do it? If not now, when are you going to be able to do it? Right? Are you going to be able to live to that standard of eliteness and playing in a game like this and expecting to be not only competitive, but have a chance to win? So no team in the country has more pressure on them, in my opinion, this year than Texas does, even more than Oklahoma, because you're going into the Southeastern Conference, because you have every eyeball on you, because you've got people like Urban Meyer saying you're the most talented team in the country. I feel like they have the most pressure. And can they handle that pressure? Well, you know how you handle that pressure? You go out and you beat what is the standard of college football. Now, Georgia's in that conversation now too, but Coach Saban and what he's built there, like we still hold Alabama on that pedestal, right? If you go and you beat a team like that, then you get confidence. And then you can move forward as a team that, you know what? We're going to go from a talented team to a damn good football team that can win every single game that we play. And if you want to be the true Texas, if you want to be the team that gets talked about in the benefit of the doubt club every single year because you've earned that right, you got to win a game like this. If you lay an egg in a game like this, that is going to be so disappointing to so many people because you have what it takes to be in this game, and it's not physically, it's the mentality that you have to play and win a game like this. That's what I want to see from Texas. I want to see from the opening kickoff, you have the belief and the mentality that you can go take the fight to Alabama and win in a matchup on the road, tough environment against what is a standard, whatever you want to, blue blood, blue chip ratio, whatever you want to call Alabama, right? They've always been that for the last 20 years. What an opportunity for Texas to go and try to prove a lot of people wrong.
So last year I had to drink an entire bottle of Bijan Mustardson because Texas covered this spread.
I know you're a foodie, but that still had to be awful.
It was, it wasn't bad until about 90 minutes later. Then it was really bad. Yeah. But here's the thing about Texas. My only issue with Texas is always they lose the games they're not supposed to lose. They don't get up for those games.
Yeah.
They will get up for this game. They will be up for this. I have no doubt. And I agree with you about the pressure. But there's one game on the schedule where the pressure's not on them, and it's this one. They're not supposed to win this one. They're the underdog. This is the only game the whole year where they'll probably be the underdog. And that's why I think they cover. I don't know if they win, but you're going to give me a whole touchdown. I feel pretty good about Texas covering that number. So I think the pressure's on Alabama. Texas will be up for this. Now, we'll talk again when Texas plays Texas Tech about who's up for what game, but they're going to be up for this one. So I will take Texas to cover. You going Alabama cover?
No, I'm going Texas to cover this game as well. I am. I'm right there with you. And so when we talk about the pressure, and I do agree, like there's not that pressure on them in this game because I don't think anybody expects it. But you play for Texas. You're the Texas Longhorns. Like, you should expect to be in this game. Like, you should expect to be not only challenging Alabama, but you should expect victory, right? I mean, I think that until Texas takes that step with their mentality, I think they're always going to be held back a little bit. But I mean, I agree with you. Like, nobody's picking them to win this game, but I think they need to expect themselves to win this game. And I need to see that change. Like when I was playing college football, like when you had Vince Young out there, and even after I was done, you had Colt McCoy out there, they believed no matter who the opponent was, they were the better team. And it might not even be true, but they have to have that belief. Like, Texas, show me that you've got grit. Okay. That's what we try to live by on off campus: grit, neck rolls, and low man wins. Show me all three of those things, please, in this game, because I need to see a mentality switch from you. And I think Sark has it. He's been around coaches that have it, and Pete Carroll and Nick Saban. Show me that your team is finally going to have that mentality in a game like this.
Another early game. This is just a loaded day. It really is.
I think so too.
There's intrigue everywhere. Texas A&M at Miami. This thing was a slog last year. It was awful to watch.
That might be the best. That might be a nice term for what it was.
It was horrible. This one, theoretically, everybody's better. Miami is a 4.5-point dog at home. I liked what I saw from A&M against New Mexico. It was just against New Mexico. I liked what I saw against Miami against Miami, and not the spring game. They were playing Miami of Ohio, but they, Francis Malinois started at right tackle as a true freshman. That we were told he and Samson Okunola, who was another 5-star plus freshman, they'd play.
Yeah,
and sure enough, Miami ran the ball really well. I thought that was impressive. This front seven will be much tougher to run on than Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, and it's a strength of A&M. Last year, it was kind of a weakness, but I think you have veteran players that understand their assignments a little bit better, certainly in the run game. And you watch A&M last year, and the run fits were atrocious. I mean, they were bad. I saw, an improved front seven because you knew the talent was there. I mean, that's why you send 2 guys from the front seven to media day. That's why you had those 5-star guys up there, because you have a belief in that position group. But I don't really know how to view this matchup, because I think there's so much pressure in this matchup for both teams, for the same reason, but for different reasons as well. And so, like, if I'm Texas A&M, like, what are you going to do offensively? Like, are you going to have those one-on-one matchups that last week against New Mexico, like you threw it up to Stewart because you said, my guy's better than your guy? Are you going to have that same approach? I'm fascinated by that, because
your guy may not be better than Miami's guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and their success last week was because they thought, hey, our guy's just so much better. Hey, Wegman, throw it up in the air, one-on-one coverage. He's wide open, basically, in our minds, and let him go make a play. Like, are you going to have the ability to do that? Will we see more evolution in Bobby Petrino at Texas A&M? It's still very early in the process. This game being on the road doesn't really affect me one way or the other. I don't think it's going to be a venue that's going to terrify Texas A&M. I mean, humidity is in College Station just like it is in Miami. And so, like, home and away didn't really affect my decision in this one. I just want to know, how do you attack Miami if you're Texas A&M? Because I'm just not sure that you can have the same thought process. I think a lot of your receivers, but Miami's got dudes out there on the edge as well, very athletic guys playing corner, playing safety. So how they attack this Miami defense is going to be the story of the game. But I think A&M does realize they have to win this game. They cannot go out there and lose this game. And the number sitting there at 4.5, I like A&M to cover that number, because I think they understand they have to. Not they'd like to. They have to go out there and win this game if they want to be competitive in the Southeastern Conference this year. And for Miami, I still think they're a little bit off. I still think they're a little bit ways of being where they want to be. The recruits are great. I love playing freshmen as well. I love recruiting a 5-star guy and saying, you know what, we're going to grow through you. But I think that's what they're doing. They're growing through this recruiting class that they just signed. And so for that reason, I think A&M a little bit ahead of where Miami is.
The losing coach of this game is going to get buried by his own fan base.
Yeah.
Buried.
It feels like 2016, not to the same extent, 2016 Auburn versus LSU, when it was like Gus Malzahn, Les Miles, who loses and who keeps their job after this game. And Les lost on the last second play. They thought they scored. They didn't. And Les got fired that night, basically, but it came out the next morning. And it was like the old Thunderdome, like 2-man enter, 1-man leave. It's not that, but it feels like it could be that for the narratives continuing throughout the season.
Yeah. All right. I am going to take Miami to cover here. I don't know that they necessarily win, because I think this is going to be a low-scoring affair.
Yeah.
But I will take Miami to cover here. I imagine this is going to be the defensive fronts and the offensive fronts just slamming against each other, and maybe not a lot of movement, which kind of what it was last year. It was just a sloppier version of it. This might be a more high-level version of that.
Yeah, that game last year should have come with a warning. Like, if you don't enjoy exciting, fun, high-powered offense, look away. Like, it should have had disclaimer on the front of that game, because, I mean, even as like an old-school 21 personnel fullback, that was tough to watch.
Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples On 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On 3 Sports YouTube channel.